But we have got so many disciplines, the must and the must nots. Always conforming, imitating, suppressing. And being suppressed, wanting to fulfill. All that is disorder. So, to understand order, to learn about order, not what order should be, but to learn about it, one must learn about disorder. Right? Are we following each other? Or are you being mesmerized by words? Well, if you are, so be it. It's up to you. We said one must learn about disorder, which is our life, which is our mind, our heart, our very core of our being is disorder. Because if you say there is a soul, there is according to the Hindus, the Atman and so on, they are just theories. Philosophy has nothing to do with living. And we are trying to understand what living is. And we see in that living there is disorder, utter disorder. The battle, the misery, the confusion, the agony, the guilt, the fear. So one has to observe without any choice this disorder which is you, which is me. To observe it, not what you want it to be. Then you create conflict between what is and what should be. And where there is conflict, there is disorder. Please do understand this thing very simply. Once you understand this, you will find that by observing disorder in oneself, without any distortion, without wanting to bring about order out of this disorder, trying to impose what you think is order upon disorder, but observe it without any choice, without any distortion, then out of that observation comes supreme order, the highest good. And in that there is a total revolution. And from that inward radical change, then there comes outward order, not the other way around. We want outward order first. And it's never been possible. Every revolution, including the communist revolution, said forget about the inward order. Let's have state order. And you know what's happening. Every revolution has done this. Try to bring about outward order without paying any attention whatsoever to the psychological supreme order within oneself. And order means also not only virtue, but love. And what is love? I wonder if you ever asked that question. what love is? Have you? What is love? How will you find out? Only you'll find out what it is through what it is not. Through negation, the positive comes. But if you pursue the positive, then it is the pursuit of the projection of the mind. So when you deny all the projections of the mind, by denying, in a sense, setting it aside, negating, then you'll find out what it is. So that's what we're going to do. Find out what it is not, to find out what it is. Is this, can we go on? Right. We said, what is love? You know, that's one of the most important things in life. If one has love, you can do what you like. Then there is no conflict. Then there is no evil. There is great bliss. But to imagine what bliss is and pursue that is not love. So we're going to see what it is not, and therefore come upon what it is. Therefore, it's not a question of searching out love, nor cultivating love. How can you cultivate love? All cultivation is the product of the mind, product of thought. It's like a mind that pursues humility. It says, I know vanity and I must cultivate humility. And when a mind that's proud and vain cultivates humility, it is still vain. It's like those saints that are pretending to be humble because they have cultivated humility. So what we're going to do is to find out what it is not. Not through me, not through the speaker at all, but by listening to yourself and finding out what it is not, and what, if it is not that, to wipe it away instantly. If you don't wipe it, if it doesn't disappear, then you are caught in time. You are a slave to the word and the verb to be. And therefore there is no love. So first we are asking what it is not. Obviously, it is not jealousy. It is not envy. And your love is hedged about, a prisoner to jealousy, envy. Right? And when you see that, that what you call love is entangled with the ugly brutality of jealousy. See it, actually observe it. And in that observation, jealousy goes, and you will never be jealous again. Never envious. Please do this as we are talking. Envy comes only when there's comparison. And is love comparison? So, again, you put aside all comparison, which means all envy. Then, is love pleasure? This is going to be a little more difficult. For most of us, love is pleasure. There is love, sexual love, or love of God, or love of God knows what else. It's based on pleasure. The love of respectability is the very essence of the bourgeois mind. So, is love pleasure? Do observe it, please. We were saying yesterday evening what pleasure is. The product of thought. Having had pleasure of different kinds yesterday, you think about it. You have image upon image built, and that stimulates you, and that gives you pleasure, sexual or otherwise, and that you call love. And is it love? Because in pleasure there is frustration, there is pain, there is agony, there is dependency. Don't you depend psychologically on another? And when you do, when you depend on your wife or your husband, whatever it is, and you say, I love you, is that love? And in that dependence, is there not fear? You're the product of your conditioning. You're the product of your society. You're the product of propaganda, religious and otherwise. For 2,000 years, as in India 10,000 or 5,000 years, they've been told what to believe, what to think. You repeat what others have said. All your education is that, the repetition of what you have learned from a book. And you're that, you're conditioned. You're not free, happy, vital, passionate human beings. You're frightened human beings, and therefore second-hand. You're full of authority of others, or your own particular little authority, of your own knowledge. You know something about something and you become an authority. So you're not free. And intellectually look Are you free? Not repeat what others have said. Not what you have been taught in the university or what you have learned from a book. And what have you experienced? Go into it, you will see what you have experienced. You have experienced something that you can always recognize. Otherwise, it's not an experience. Therefore, your experience is always old. Like thought is always old. Thought is never new. Because it's a response of memory. So you, if you will forgive my repeating it, you're second-hand human beings. Intellectually, emotionally. You go to places to learn how to be sensitive. Lovely idea, isn't it? Be taught by another how to think. So, morally, intellectually, deeply, you're not free, and therefore you're only free in your sexual expression. And that's why it has become so extraordinarily important. There you are full. There you're free. Though it has its own problems and its own neurotic attitudes and actions. So sex becomes important when everything else becomes unimportant. When life, the whole of it, not just sex. Life includes living. Life includes what love is, what death is. The whole movement of living. When that has no meaning, then one fragment which you call sex becomes extraordinarily important and vital. When you're not passionate about freedom inwardly, then you're lustfully passionate about sex. That's all. And with that, you associate love, pleasure. And with that, you associate tenderness, gentleness. Maybe sexually very tender, very kind, considerate. But outwardly, you destroy. You kill everything around you, animals, to eat, to hunt. So your love is based on pleasure. And therefore, is it love? Love surely is something none of all this. Compassion means passion for everybody. Not to your particular little desire. So, when you understand what disorder is, by observing very closely, out of that comes order. And order has its own discipline, which is its own virtue. Therefore, that order is the supreme good and therefore love, which has nothing whatsoever to do with pleasure. But pleasure has pain. Love is enjoyment. Love is joy, not the puny thing that one man has made it. And to find that out, what love is, you must also understand what death is. Right? Do you really want to understand what death is? Yes? I doubt it. Very much. Because you're all so scared of death. Aren't you? Or you have a belief in afterlife. Therefore, you're not frightened. You have rationalized your life, knowing that it's going to come to an end, the puny, shoddy little life that one lives, and one is frightened of that. Therefore, say, let's rationalize it, think about it, clarify it, all the rest of it. Or you have a belief in afterlife. The whole of Asia believes in afterlife. Millions believe in reincarnation. But they never question what it is that incarnates. They believe that there is a permanent entity that's going to incarnate, and so on. I won't go into all that. If you believe in reincarnation, then what matters is how you live today. Right? Because you're going to pay for it next life. How you live, what you do, what you think, what your morality is. So, even though you may believe in reincarnation, what matters is how you live now. So you have to face death. Not postpone it till old age, some accident, disease, and so on. You have to meet it, you have to understand it. Not be afraid of it. So we say we must understand life and avoid death. But if you see life as a whole, in which there is this living and this extraordinary thing called love and death as a total unit, not three separate things, then what is death? The organism, by usage, disease, and all the rest of it, comes to an end. It comes to an end quicker when there is conflict. All your heart failures and all the business of it is the result of this extraordinary, emotional, contradictory way of living. The organism comes to an end. And either you can say, that's the end of it, finished. Or, which we don't say, the end of the whole structure and the nature of the me. The me, which has divided itself as us and they, we and those, we and you, that me is the center of conflict. Now, can that me die? Not eventually, but every day. Then you will know what death is. So that the mind is always, tomorrow it's fresh because you have death to the past. Are you following all this? No, sir. Do it, not follow it. Die to your pleasure. Die to your furniture. And that's what you are, your furniture. Whether the chair or the furniture that you have accumulated in your mind, which you call knowledge. So that you die every day to everything that you have accumulated. And that's what's going to happen to you anyhow. That means to empty the mind of everything known, which means the mind becomes utterly innocent. And it is only such a mind that has this extraordinary religious quality of purity that can come upon what is called enlightenment.